Saskatchewan Air Ambulance is the world's oldest civilian air ambulance service. It was begun in 1946 by Keith Malcolm, who was a flight lieutenant in the RCAF during World War II. He spoke with other Commonwealth pilots about the Australian experience and altered their model to form the Saskatchewan Air Ambulance Service. The service has evolved over the past 60 years, and today the crews, aircraft, and equipment are among the best in the world. Lifeguards 1, 2, and 3 continue this proud heritage.
I'm told we are the first dedicated civilian air ambulance service in the world, when you exclude the military. And of course, we were formed right after World War II, and we had returning RCAF pilots and RCAF nurses. And that was the nucleus of how air ambulance started, was based on our experience in wartime. So it's been a very unique service that way, and we've developed a lot of interesting things along the way. It's amazing when you see the earlier years of air ambulance when there weren't airfields and they would land in wheat fields, things that you're not able to do now. And you'd see the patients, pictures of patients being brought up in horse-drawn carriages up to the side of the air ambulance. From that viewpoint, it's changed dramatically as we've gotten airports throughout the province and a better road system. But the original pilots must have been amazing to land aircraft and take off where they did.
Well, I was born and raised in Regina, had my training with the Air Force, joined in '42, and had my initial training in Saskatoon, which was ground school for about 2 or 3 months. After that course was over, I got my wings and commission, and then overseas. We landed in Liverpool, went to Bournemouth, and we were there for about a month, and then went out to Snitterfield, which is Shakespeare's town. And then I got sent out to Oxford on mosquitoes, and I was only there a week, got through the ground school and everything. But then I had to go to, they called me in and sent me to Market Harbour on Wellingtons. And then to Lindholm, to 625 Squadron. And then the war was over in a week or two. So I joined up to go to the Far East, so they sent me home to Greenwood. And that was my last station. Then, back home, nothing much to do. 3 other fellows and myself started up Prairie Flying Service for aerial crop spraying. And in '53, I sold out and was flying for the air ambulance.
Both the pilots and aircraft were products from the Second World War. The first aircraft was a Norseman based in Regina. The Norseman was chosen because of its ability to land and take off in primitive conditions. A Husky Fairchild was added, but it was later replaced after a year of service by another Norseman aircraft known as CF Sam. They remained in service from 1947 to 1950. The Norseman was notoriously slow, according to Art Davis.
Oh yeah, 90 takeoff and 90 landing and 90 cruising. That'd be on floats. Yeah. On wheels, it'd go a little faster.
The Norseman aircraft were good bush planes, but too slow for air ambulance service. In 1950, they were replaced by the Cessna 195. Art D'Entremont was one of the early pilots.
The Cessna 195, this one, did 150 miles an hour, statute miles an hour. The Beech 18 does about 180. The Beech 18 is a twin-engine airplane. We used it only when we were landing at airports, whereas we took this airplane into farmers' fields, stubble fields, pastures. I've landed on lakes, on skis in the wintertime, and taxied down rivers, and gone back in the woods and picked up a patient back in a trapper's cabin, pushed him down on a sled to the airplane, and flew him into Prince Albert, to the hospital in Prince Albert. I left the Royal Canadian Air Force, where I was landing on 200-foot wide paved runways with lights and all the trimmings. And when I came with Air Ambulance, there was certainly a learning curve, and it was very challenging. I remember the supervisor of the service at the time, chief pilot, took me out and showed me how to spot gopher holes and rocks and anything that might interfere. But we had to land on farmers' stubble fields and pasture fields because there were, in 1958, very few airstrips. They came along later, and as time progressed, and by the time I left the service in 1974, there were many airstrips in some area, a few more airports as well. So it became a little easier.
As a nurse, you're trained to observe, and because I worked in like neurosurgery, I knew when to be concerned about the blood pressure, you check the pupils, the pulse and stuff. You know, we always flew low with a head injury pretty much if you could. And I think that experience for sure helped me with a lot of patients because you had to be a good observer to know what to do. I mean, you had to know what was coming next. And for all of us, I think that was the truth, that we learned to be a good observer and use your head. You had to know what you're going to do next. You had to really plan ahead in a sense. Like when we left Saskatoon, you didn't really know what you were going to see at the other end. You knew had a diagnosis, but hospitals weren't as well equipped then as now, and you didn't know how bad they were or how good they were. And that made it hard, but you had to do some sort of an assessment when you got there and rely on what information they gave you.
I started in 1963 and worked for 2 years, and then I quit for 3 years, had a baby boy, went back at work again till 1993 and retired after 26 years. When I first started working with Air Ambulance, I had left an environment where it was predominantly a female environment, nurses. There was hardly any men working in the hospital other than doctors. And so when I went to the Air Ambulance service, this was a predominantly male environment. And that was one of the biggest adjustments I had to make, was working with these males. The pilots were post-World War II pilots, and probably had inflated egos, to put it very nicely. But they were a bit chauvinistic, and we definitely were told what our place was in the service.
My first flight was with Art D'Entremont, who encouraged me, saying that this was really a good job. And someone asked me if this was the most exciting job, and I said, well, I don't know if exciting was the right word, because it was exciting at first because everything was very brand new, and not ever having been in an airplane, it was exciting. But through the years, Air Ambulance became, to me, it was a very important job. It was sometimes dramatic, sometimes, it was always emotional, basically, and sometimes scary. But to me, it was extension of my rural roots in the sense that we only basically went to rural areas, to rural hospitals, which were a long way from a large center. And it was a fast way to get someone to a large center safely.
I delivered 4 babies en route. The first baby I delivered was actually in this style of airplane, and the patient was put in with the feet towards the tail of the airplane. Head is here. So really, when you're trying to deliver a baby, baby's back in this part of the airplane. It was pretty difficult, actually. We had also that particular trip, we had a patient sitting in this front seat that had a brain tumor. She was able to sit up, but she had to be taken into Saskatoon. And also a little boy, and she was holding the little boy on her lap. Pilot was there, I'm back here with this patient delivering a baby. So it got a little crowded at times.
On July 24, 1948, Leon Dubriel was the first baby born on a Saskatchewan air ambulance flight. His birth is registered at the Wadena Union Hospital, but he was actually born over the town of Defo.
I guess there's complications to birth. She was sick for a few days before when the doctor decided that they needed probably more care. Saskatchewan Air Ambulance from Regina flew out to Rose Valley. The one that's behind me is the one that flew to Rose Valley. I got the chance to meet Julian Odette in Regina and spent an evening with him and kept in contact over the years with him. He gave me the address of my nurse that delivered me, which I had thought that she was no longer living. And that following winter, I flew out to San Francisco and spent a day and a half with her and her husband.
There were all different kinds of situations and conditions, and it covered the broad spectrum of all situations, of all illnesses, head injuries, fractures, pregnancies, babies, small children. It was a very broad group of patients to have. And one of the things that always I thought about a lot was that the scary thing in some ways was that you were always alone with the patient and totally responsible for their life. And it was, you just wished you could get another pair of hands and another head to help you. I used to always have a prayer when I took off. And I can't remember it now, but I'm kind of thinking it was, please let us get back safely and help me to do my best. And I'm sure every nurse said that in their head. I would bet odds on that one.
I've picked up people with badly mangled arms, young boys had his head chopped up by a motorboat propeller. I've had a lot of complicated pregnancies. And I learned that epistaxis, which sounds like a very serious disease, means a bad nosebleed. We picked up some of those too, but I guess a nosebleed can become very serious. It didn't seem serious compared to some of the cases we carried around.
We landed on lakes in wintertime that were frozen, but otherwise it was landing on farmers' fields and a lot of pastures. We landed on a lot of pastures, which was really interesting because sometimes you had to herd the horses or the cows down to the end, you know, make a sweep of the strip, get them all down at one end and quickly come back and land at the other end while it was clear of the livestock. My favorite story about this plane is the turning the plane in the snowbanks when we had to use our bodies as a pivot to swing the airplane around, and that was interesting.
If it was windy, it became very difficult. Sometimes the pilot just could not bring that airplane and get it turned back around. So we'd get the nurse to assist us, and we'd put a rope up through here. Now, Mary, have you got the rope there?
Got the rope.
Okay, we'll show what we used to do. The nurse would hold on to put this rope through this loop here on the wing and hang on to it like so. And we used to drag the poor girl, but we would be trying, in this description, we'd be trying a turn to the right. The wind probably coming from this direction, and as soon as I got about this far, the airplane would swing back into wind. It just wouldn't let you turn away from the wind. So by pulling on the rope, the nurse provided just enough drag there that we could bring it around. We had to feed them well.
John Wilson is a second-generation air ambulance employee. His father, Jim, was a mechanic who serviced the early aircraft.
There was one, he did have one story of SAM. Something happened here in Saskatoon, and there was no engineer at the time, and he was dispatched from Regina, come up here. Oh, just quickly fix the airplane and you know, get back home. And so we came up and got the airplane fixed. And just as the pilot was